Hi, my name's James Schrader, and I love RC. Been doing it my whole life, and I'm glad to do this today. We're building an FMS Maule 1500. I've been eyeing this Maule for a while now. One, I love civilian general aviation aircraft, and I've been looking for something that is going to be stable and slow and has like the big tires so it can handle like not the best grass, because I have an 8-year-old daughter and I hung an old airplane in her second grade classroom and the kids loved it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to work this out with the teacher. We've already got it planned. I'm going to bring the simulator in on their big TV. All the kids are going to get to learn to fly. And I'm going to show them this in their schoolyard just so they can see what it's all about. Let's get started. Different shirt, different day. Going to continue building this Maule. I'm super excited. I will say this is my first FMS model. And I've been doing this hobby 35 years. I started flying on a buddy box with my dad when I was 4, probably. Yeah, 4. Pardon the interruption. Please like and subscribe, because it helps. And it helps me know what you want. And comment and tell me all the things I'm doing right and doing wrong, because I'm just happy to be here talking about airplanes. I had my first airplane when I was 8 and have been flying for 35 plus, it's amazing now what's possible, what you can get and what it used to take. So I'm always impressed. Open this up. It's all just, it's in there, it's tight, it's safe, it's good. We're gonna go ahead and unpack this. Here it is, all out of the foam. Everything looks great. Man, I'm always impressed by the detail. I mean, it's just cool. It's just so cool what they do now and what you can get. So let's crack these instructions and start assembling. So with this being my first FMS build, I wanted to read the instructions thoroughly before diving in. But I was impressed. Like, it was all written out clearly. It was pretty good instructions. The pieces all fit well. I was tinkering with this new electric screwdriver that I see everybody using, and once I kind of got the hang of it, I was pretty impressed. It worked well. But I did go in afterwards and tighten everything by hand just because my brain, I had to do it. I needed to know by feel how tight everything was. Connect the connectors to servo and LED light in the main wing fuselage. Note, make sure that the connections in the main wing are connected to the correct extension for the fuselage. Secure the wings in place. 4 included screws as shown. Secure the supporting bars to the fuselage with the 2 included screws as shown. Well, how do you know what's what? You can see that I am just staring at this thing, wondering, how do I get this plugged in? How do you know? How do you know? How do you know which connector here is the right connector for the aileron or the flap or the light? It doesn't. I don't think I'm missing something, but that's it. What am I complaining about? I'm going to be done in an hour. Like, this is still incredible. And it looks amazing. I am so impressed with the detail and the finish on this model. But I need a stronger light. And I don't have a headlamp on me, which is strange, because I usually do. You ever want to know what the best Christmas present for anybody from age 5 through 95? It's a quality headlamp that recharges with a plug. Don't mess with batteries. Plug in. That's what you need now. I'm not kidding. That's the best. You should get somebody 2. Get one for their house, one for their car. You always need a headlamp. Always. The truth is, the plugs just pull out. So there's that. And I'm still looking. How the hell do we know? Can you tell me that? How the hell do we know? That's the part that I don't know. Is how the hell do we know? You know what? We are going to do that first. I got frustrated with the wings, so I just thought, let's put the tail feathers on and feel productive. I turned the camera off to do research, and I found out the plugs just pull out of the wings and they're labeled. I went back and I did it, but I forgot to turn the camera back on. So poof. The Maule is almost done. The biggest issue I had was that I am very new to the Radiomaster T16S. Pretty sure I'm saying that right. And I had to hop on YouTube and find some videos from some fantastic guys that helped me figure out the programming and all that. I started back in the day with FM where you had to program everything, but now because it's all computer, it's just it's a little more, but once you figure it out, wow, it's amazing what you can do. So we are finally at a stage where I've got all the channels right. I got the flaps working how I want. We're going to flip the Maule over. We're going to open the hatch. We're going to mix up some 5-minute epoxy, lay a nice film down where the receiver is going to go, and then this baby is ready to fly. Let's get after it. Everyone knows that's the best place to mix epoxy is either in the little plastic cups or a good old piece of scrap cardboard. I'm using 5-minute epoxy because it's not critical. I don't need a ton of time to work it. I just need it to mix, spread, cure. I'm gonna get my trusty popsicle stick. I know for a fact that as soon as my daughter sees these, they are gone. I'm never gonna get them back. She's gonna arts and crafts with them, and that's gonna be that. When it comes to epoxy, it's just equal parts. So just put a dot the size of a dime. And I promise in future, like, I'll have a camera that looks at stuff, but like I said, this is the test. And another spot the size of a dime. And then caps. Don't mix up your caps. Oh, that smell. That smells like childhood right there. That's youth. I started my first airplane ever was it was from a company called Direct Connection that used to be in RC Modeler magazine, and it was called a Superbug, and it was pretty much a motor glider. It had a 6-foot wingspan. They had a bigger wing that I never flew. I had it, but I never flew it. It was a 7-foot 4-inch wing, but the main wing was 6 feet, and it was pretty much like a long styrofoam fuselage, 3-channel, and it used an OS 10 size engine, which is like the most beautiful little piece of it was just the coolest little piece of gear because it just hummed. It just ran so nicely. But man, that Superbug was just a beautiful, I mean, it looked elegant, and I learned all about epoxy. You had to put the wings together with the spars in the middle. I installed my own servos. It was just wide enough to install the 3 servos in the arm. Like, they just fit because it was very narrow. And I learned monocoat. So I had my fuselage was blue and my wings were yellow on top with blue on the bottom. And then my tail feathers were yellow as well. And man, that little 10, that OS 10 was just a sewing machine. It was so great. 2 ounces of fuel, and I'd slow it way down because it was very efficient aircraft. And my dad, like, he had buddy boxed us at that point on Duraplanes, which, if you remember, that was like the square tube with a wing on top and like a metal tray out the back that went to the tail feathers. We had Duraplanes. We had one that, I don't even know what it was called. I believe it was an old MRC foam kit. It was called a crapper. That's just what we called it. We learned on that. And yeah, that was my first one. I remember I got it for Christmas, and I had it together within like a week, and I learned to monocoat, and then we flew. And my dad, I think, trimmed it out, and pretty much like, I think we buddy boxed like a couple times, but it was just the most gentle. I still have one. I still have a fuselage. I still have the tail feathers. I still have a couple of the wings back home. I wish it was something I could go get new because they're all kind of beat up a little bit, just hanger rash. My parents took us to the AMA Nationals one year, and I saw early days of Top Gun in Florida and Jets over Florida, and then Jets, Jets over Orlando, maybe it is. There was an actual neighborhood in Orlando called RC World. It was an entire neighborhood built with a RC airport, like at the back of the neighborhood. And every Thanksgiving, they'd have a big fly-in. And we would go to Orlando because my aunt would come into town and get a condo. So we would be there, and we would go 2 days in a row, like Saturday and Sunday after Thanksgiving, to this fly-in for a few years. I mean, in my memory, it was like my whole childhood. And Jason Schultz, Jason something. He was like the first, he was young. He was like 16 or 17, and I was like 10. And this guy was hovering airplanes. He was like one of the first. It was incredible. So I remember seeing all that. And back then, like, everything was stick built. And you'd see these guys show up after, an entire winter of building with these beautiful stick models that have been covered and like meticulously detailed. And every now and then, I remember it was Jets over Florida at the Miami Polo Grounds or something, West West Palm Polo Grounds, and some guy, I don't know the plane. It was like a World War II observation, maybe Vietnam era observation plane, where it almost had like a big glass nose, like almost like a helicopter, and then a big wing and twin engines. And this guy, like every detail, it was perfect. And it was big. It was probably 80 plus inches at least. And he built it. This guy, this older guy, built it for like 3 years. Every detail, like just every detail. And then this other guy went to fly it, and it just went running down the runway and wouldn't lift off and wouldn't lift off and wouldn't lift off and finally lift off and just rolled and just sticks and twigs. And you just felt so bad for that guy because, yeah, man, that was like 3 years of your life. And it took 17 seconds for it to no longer exist. So that was interesting. But I do remember seeing so many just beautiful kits. And some people build from scratch. Like that thing was from scratch. That guy designed every piece himself. I'm sure just like you. Are you kidding me? With this guy? With this guy? In the matter of a couple hours. It took me longer to figure out how to program the radio than to put the plane together so it's ready to fly. And that's pretty incredible because this thing I'm sure is going to fly so well. And I'm so excited to show my daughter's class like what it's all about. And we're down to 51 seconds. We're almost there. Let's check this. How's that doing? I mean, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. Are we still tacky? Just barely. Just barely. I think it's still drying. So, all right. We'll see you in a minute. Here I am installing just the Velcro and the receiver. All right. I left off the final detail, which again, these kits, so much great detail, right? I mean, you have the little vortex generators on the wing, which do they help? I don't know. I'm sure they do. I mean, they're to scale. They're about what they would look like on the real thing. And I'm sure they help keep the flow right. When it's slow flight, pop this in and... Does this have to be glued? How do these antennas stay in? How do they stay in? Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know. If those don't make it, they don't make it, but that's not... I don't feel a lock happening. I don't know. I might end up gluing those. Why not? I have the epoxy and the styrofoam, you know. Let's do it. And I'm mixing and I'm mixing and I'm mixing and I'm mixing. Hey Siri, set a timer for 5 minutes.
5 minutes starting now.
All right. This airplane is ready to fly. So we'll let that do its deal and harden. And I'm going to make sure my batteries are charged. And the next thing you see will be us at the flying field. Let's go fly. All right, we're at the RC field. It's a crazy busy day here today, which is fine. I love being at the field when everyone's flying sometimes. It's going to be a little hectic to fly the Maule for the first time, but that's okay. We're going to do it. They just said that they have an event going on today, so I have like 8 minutes to get a flight in, so we're just going to get one in, see how the Maule does. Taking off! The plane took off before I was even at half stick. It wants to be in the air. It took some trimming to get it, just dialed in, but it was pretty much a delight. I took it nice and easy. Here's some video from the plane itself. This was on the second flight that I went. I got a new little camera, and I got to figure out a better way to mount it, but I was really impressed with the camera, the DJI Nano, and honestly, I'm just impressed with this Maule. It was just fun to fly. Here we'll cut back. You can see when I brought it into land, it was going slow, like it barely rolled. This thing will just walk down the runway. It's a blast. It looks scale. I loved it. Landing! If you're still here watching, thanks for sticking around. Here's the debrief on the FMS Maule. I'm loving it. I've only got 3 flights on it. The truth is, The first flight was really about just getting her trimmed. It just took a little bit of nose down, and then I started playing with flap mixes and getting that exact right. And the truth is, a little bit of flaps on this thing goes a long way. I actually thought I needed more when I first mixed it, and I'm talking about the actual flap going down, degrees of flap. So I've got maybe like 15 degrees for takeoff and kind of slow flight, but then I take it to like I take it to like 70 degrees and it'll just nose down, and it's a delight. It's so fun to just do passes and kind of steep descents. I ended up needing more aileron throw. It was real docile, so I just had to adjust the linkages here. As soon as I did that, it was great. She likes to roll to the right really nicely, and then the left is like this wonky roll. I'm not sure what that is, but we'll keep playing. And the truth is, I don't care. She's not an aerobatic machine. This plane is for flying slow, going off the rough grass. When I flew it at my daughter's school, my daughter led the lesson in folding up a like world-class record-holding paper airplane design. So then all the kids had their own plane. I brought in the simulator. They all flew. They all got to fly for about a minute and a half just because there were so many kids, but they loved it. What they wanted to do, they wanted safe mode off. They wanted to go crazy, looping and rolling, and whoever got more parts to blast off the airplane when they smashed it into a building or the ground, everyone cheered. So it was a big success. The kids are digging it. Anytime I can turn people on to aviation, and anytime I can put a paper airplane or a glider in a kid's hand and then fly this in their field and they're cheering and loving it, we're winning. So getting used to the radio Master radio is a delight now that I've watched some videos and learned how to do things. And the truth is, this Maule is a blast. I can't wait to fly it more. If you have any interest in this type of plane, this is a stall aircraft, slow flight, looks scale, flies scale, nice slow patterns, nice slow approaches. You do a flyby and it's like it's walking, like you can walk with it. So thank you so much for being here. Like and subscribe if you haven't. I'm going to make more videos. I've got a sailboat. I've got a quarter-scale Cub. I've got a 90-inch Chipmunk. I've got some vintage airplanes I want to bring back. I've got some helicopters that I used to fly that I need to come out and give a once-over. So stay tuned. I love RC. I hope you like airplanes too. If you don't, you should, because it's science and love and passion all wrapped into one, and you get to fly it. That's the best part. So send this to someone you know likes airplanes. Send this to someone you know likes radio control. I really appreciate it. Also, I'm a comedian. My name is James Schrader. You may recognize me from Dr. Squatch commercials or a bunch of other brands that I've worked with on the internet. And go to my website, jamesschrader.com. Send me your email, follow my Instagram, Mr. James Schrader. I do shows all over San Diego and the country, and I'd love to come to your city, visit your RC club, do a show in town. Let's go flying. Let's have some laughs. Thanks for being here, and there's more to come. Thanks.